Welcome to Mitchell Field in Uniondale, Long Island, the home of the New York Cosmos. Tonight on mycujo.tv, it's action from NISA, the National Independent Soccer Association, as the New York Cosmos in at 1-1-0. They take on Detroit City FC in at 1-1-1. And good evening and welcome to our coverage. I'm Ralph Bednarczyk, joined on the field by former Columbia All-American goalkeeper Sal Rosamilia as we continue to practice social distancing. Not only is it a significant game in the standings of this fall season, but also great significance in what has become a quick rivalry in NISA, established going back to last summer's Members Cup, as the Cosmos were unable to defeat Detroit City twice last year, as Detroit City went on to win the Members Cup. Sal, between these two, it's not just about the points. There is some real opportunity for both sides to see who may be the top dog in NISA this fall.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what I like to call a tester game for both teams. These are two contenders for the tournament championship, Detroit City and the New York Cosmos, and this is a final test for each of them before they get into that tournament to see where each of them stand.
When we come back, we'll hear from New York Cosmos head coach Carlos Mendez, his thoughts about this matchup and the long 19-day layoff between matches for his squad. And then first kick, Detroit City FC visiting the New York Cosmos, coming up next on mycujo.tv.
To all our MediaCom customers, thank you.
We just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for trusting us to keep your family connected.
We'll do whatever it takes.
Yep, we got you.
Thank you so much for being patient and your support.
You all are the reason that we do what we do, and we couldn't do it without you.
So thank you. We appreciate you, and please stay safe.
Thank you for being a part of our MediaCom family.
You're the best.
Thank you.
I set you free. I told you could.
At East Village Loves NYC, we're New Yorkers, so we understand the importance of having each other's backs. That means ensuring that everybody has enough to eat. Now with a pandemic, keeping each other fed is more urgent than ever. We're a volunteer-run non-profit where every donation goes to feeding those who are hardest hit. With just 80 cents, we can make a healthy and nutritious meal. Donate today and help a New Yorker get back on their feet.
Welcome back tonight to Uniondale, Mitchell Field. Ralph Bednarczyk alongside Sal Rosamilia, bringing you Detroit City FC and the New York Cosmos. Let's introduce our starters. Detroit City FC making the long bus ride yesterday. And they stayed in New Jersey. Their lineup will look like this. In goal, Jean Antoine from San Diego by way of Haiti. So for Detroit City FC, they'll go with a lineup that'll look like this with a 3-5-2 alignment. Stephen Carroll be the lone center back. Jarira and Kafari, the right back. Kafari, a former New York Cosmo. Then in the middle, Connor Rutz, 2 goals on Saturday against New Amsterdam, center attacking midfielder. First year with Detroit City, 4 goals and an assist. And up top, the dangerous Yazid Matthews from Johannesburg, South Africa. In goal, Jean Antoine from San Diego via Haiti. This is his first start with Detroit City. He's played second halves in 2 separate games, but Detroit City's usual starter, Nate Steinwasser, away from the team tonight. He had work responsibilities, but Antoine was the starter last year with San Diego 1904. And also a substitution is Javi Bautista will be the acting head coach tonight. Javi is usually the assistant coach to Trevor James, but Trevor had to stay back in Detroit tonight. And Javi was a longtime assistant coach and also 2 stints as a player for Detroit City FC. And tonight for the New York Cosmos, they'll play out of a 4-2-3-1 alignment. In the back, Notable change, Andrew Luban will be the right back, the tremendous Ansley goalie on the left with Conrad Pleva, Matt Lewis, the back foursome. The captain and holding midfielder is Danny Chattel in the midfield with Vincenzo Candela and the rookie Mattia Cella. And then up top, Isaac Acuna, striker up top, but look out for Bledy Bartic, goals in consecutive games. He leads the team with 2, and Siobhan John Brown. In goal, this is Jesse Cork, 27-year-old, second year with the Cosmos from nearby Valley Stream, New York. He is in net, a product out of Molloy College. And the head coach is the former New York Cosmo, now in his 3rd season, Carlos Mendez. Became the first player signed by the Rio Cosmos back in December of 2012, was an anchor on the back line. And for more on Carlos and his thoughts, Sal earlier this week got a chance to speak to Coach Mendez about this critical matchup tonight.
Carlos, Detroit City coming in off an impressive victory in their last match. A big game for them as it's their 4th game in this fall season. And for you guys as well, as you're preparing for the playoffs. If you win your last 2 matches, you do finish in first place in this part of the season. What are you expecting from Detroit City tonight?
A difficult matchup. Obviously, a very good team, a well-coached team. I think a hard-working team. So we have to be at our best if we want an opportunity to get the 3 points and really bring our A game. So again, every time we play each other, it's a good matchup. We're looking forward to it and happy to have them in. And obviously have to, like I said, do the little things well and make sure that we're paying attention to all the details, because if you don't, it's a team that can hurt you.
And in what ways? How are they different from some of your previous matches? What ways can Detroit City cause you trouble?
Again, outside of just being an organized and hardworking team, I think they attack with numbers. They can attack you with wing backs and obviously I think are very dynamic through the middle of the field. They interchange a lot. They present a problem that way. So again, it's a team that when they move forward, they move with a good purpose, and you have to be organized and disciplined if you want to make sure you keep them off. Obviously, to not give them any opportunities, not give them any goals, and then take advantage of the areas that they vacate.
Can we expect any different changes in the lineup tonight from your previous game?
Yeah, of course. I mean, having Zembro not available now, we'll have to have guys step in. But again, we have a deep team, a competent team, and we realize not just tonight, but moving forward that there are a lot of games in a short period, and guys are going to have to step up and get an opportunity to play.
All right, Sal, so the thoughts from Carlos Mendez there, and even above that, Sal, 19 days between games, of course, coming off of a pandemic and the long lockdown. Of course, it's not ideal to establish rhythm just when the Cosmos came off of arguably their best performance, the 3-1 victory last game, their victory late August against New Amsterdam.
Yeah, but again, this is just something that everybody has to deal with. It's not a normal season, and the team that can handle it the best. There's a lot of games in a short period of time, so depth is always an issue, and I think the Cosmos are as strong as anybody in the league in terms of the quality of players and the quantity of players that they could put out there. So I think they're in a good position. As you mentioned, the last time that they did play, it was a while ago, but it was their best performance year to date for sure when they were able to get that insurance goal for the first time all year and finish out a 3-point win.
That game was Friday, August 21st, 19 days ago. And Detroit City FC put together their best performance so far of this abbreviated fall season on Saturday, shutting out New Amsterdam 3-0, convincing finish at Keyworth Stadium. So there's Jesse Cork and Jean Antoine getting the start tonight for Detroit City FC. Both teams missing key pieces. Told you Nate Steinwasser had to stay back home in Sterling Heights, Michigan. He is also working full-time as an accountant in addition to being a pro soccer player, so he could not get this night off. Remember, this is a rescheduled game, rescheduled match from August 29th when Detroit City FC decided not to play to call attention for the racial injustice after the Jacob Blake incident in Kenosha, Wisconsin. An early foul and a restart for Detroit City FC. And for the Cosmos, notable name not in the lineup tonight or in the 18 for Carlos Mendez, Darwin Espinal, who's been a terrific center attacking mid. Members Cup starting 11 last year. He was sick over the weekend, didn't get a full week of training in, and he's not in the 18. First ball chipped in, and Matt Lewis wins the head ball defensively for the Cosmos. Well, Detroit City FC talking to Javi Batista ahead of this one. He felt perhaps the little difference maker, especially watching the film off of the Cosmos Detroit City 2 meetings last year. This would be a work rate type game. 2 evenly matched games last year. Detroit City came here to Mitchell Field and was able to pull a game out October 12th last year, 2-1, Sal. Yazid Matthews getting the eventual game winner in the 30th minute. Cosmos were relentless and to try to get the equalizer after Matt Lewis made it 2-1, but could not tie it, and that ended up being the de facto Members Cup championship game. And that came after September 21st, where the Cosmos went to Detroit and had to settle for a 1-1 draw. The Cosmos in their familiar green on green. Detroit City FC white on white. Ball on the top, handled by Lewis. The follow-up from Jean-Claude Lawson. And Jean-Claude Lawson, the franchise and club's leading goal scorer, all-time 39 tallies. Good step forward there by Stephen Carroll. He's the lone center back with Detroit City. And spaced in the middle, Connor Rutz. And a ball played out wide.
A good early start here for Detroit City, pinning the Cosmos back here in the first couple of minutes. And these are two teams, when you look at the rosters and you look at how it went last year with Detroit City winning last fall, coming into this year. Of course, you don't know what's going to happen with everything that everyone's been dealing with, but you know, these are two of the teams that certainly in the East you felt are the most likely to come through. Chattanooga will have something to say about that, and of course Michigan Stars are currently in first place at the top of the table here. So, but these are certainly two quality teams and capable of winning a championship.
And this schedule for the Cosmos ended up being a tremendous challenge. After the postponement August 29th, you figured this game would have to be made up as a midweeker, and it's ended up where the Cosmos play Detroit City tonight, and then they leave tomorrow on a pair of long bus rides down to Chattanooga. They'll play Chattanooga, a very tough place to win and play in at Finley Stadium. That's a terrific club with tremendous pride and pedigree of competing for championships. Chattanooga, that game will be Saturday night. So the Cosmos will leave tomorrow. They'll bus down to Virginia because the limits are 10 hours per bus driver, and then finish off the remaining, I think, 3.5, 4 hours of the trip on Friday. Siobhan John Brown, layoff for Ansi Agoli. Agoli, ball threaded in, follow-up opportunity, and Mattia Cella, his blast, came right back to Siobhan John Brown, and he kind of is able to side volley it, and Jean Antoine passes his first test.
Yeah, good technique there by Siobhan John Brown that time. Clearly a shot from Mattia Cella from distance. Quite ambitious from that spot on the field, but a nice first touch by Siobhan John Brown and good technique to hit that side volley on goal. You know, this schedule here today and bus trips, as you mentioned, then turn around and play their final game of the fall regular season on Saturday. It's going to be quite similar to what they'll face games in a short period of time when they get to the single location tournament in a couple of weeks. And for Detroit City, this is their fourth and final match of the regular season, so less of an impact for them than the Cosmos. Both of these teams with 3 points tonight. Whoever can get away with a win here tonight, if there is a winner, will put themselves clear in first place for now.
Yeah, that fall tournament is scheduled to begin September 21st at a location yet to be disclosed, as there is Antoine ranging well out.
And that was an important play there by Jean Antoine, the goalkeeper, because Acuna had the inside track. It was a great ball, I believe, played by Siobhan John Brown into the path of Isaac Acuna. This is that one from before. Good technique there, popping him up and up to himself on the first touch by Siobhan John Brown. And laces through the side, getting it on target. But two good early touches from Jean Antoine, who's not been the starter, as you mentioned, Ralph. So it's a good start to the match for him for Detroit City.
Nate Steinwasser, Members Cup starting 11 last year. He seized a starting role in mid-August last year. 6 shutouts and 10 starts, allowing Detroit City FC to clinch the inaugural Members Cup championship. And it's the first game that he misses of the season, but Antoine's been practicing consistently, and as we said, he comes with great experience and some history against the New York Cosmos. Last spring, while playing for ASC San Diego in the NPSL, San Diego had a terrific spring year. He started against the Cosmos in a 2-0 win for New York in last spring's semifinals. That was July of 19, as San Diego won the West Region Championship for the first time. And that earned him the opportunity to play for San Diego 1904 in NISA. But San Diego decided they were not going to be able to have a season, at least in the fall, so that made Antoine a free agent as Cork handles there. And Detroit City, the benefactor. Lewis, now the Seton Hall product, Conrad Pleva. Acuna the layoff. Vincenzo Candela, as he tried to split out Bledy Bartic, not on the same page. And it will go back to a goal kick for Jean Antoine. So Detroit City FC here at 1-1-1, lost their opener to Chattanooga 2-0 back on August the 15th. And Chattanooga really clogged the middle in that game, and they also gave up, or Detroit City FC gave up an early goal in the 4th minute and then sat back. And then a tie by Detroit City against the Michigan Stars before an eventual red card leveled that game off. Detroit City had the better of it. And then last Saturday's complete performance, 3-0 over New Amsterdam. A restart for Kevin Venegas, one of 2 former Cosmos on this Detroit City roster. Venegas enters in. Cork, clean grab.
Yeah, confident play by Jesse Cork. That ball was kind of floated up in the air, but still an important play for Jesse Cork to come and not have his defenders have to deal with not just winning that first ball, which oftentimes the defense will do, but it's the second ball that still needs to be won. And Jesse Cork just took it into his own hands there and helps his defenders out. We'll see how this continues here, but Danny Chatella is playing more as the number 10 tonight for New York, and Mattia Cella and Vincenzo Candela have been playing more as the 2 6s. And it's a little bit different than we normally see from Danny Chatella, but certainly he's capable of being in that role.
And again, that's where the absence is felt for the Cosmos, playing without Darwin Espinal. Terrific player, still just 25 years old, that had 2 goals in last year's 10 Members Cup appearances. But Espinal was dealing with a July preseason injury in the games you and I have done, Sal. Espinal was just not showing maybe that same burst as of yet. And being sick over the weekend did not help. So no Darwin Espinal for the Cosmos, who has been the starting center attacking mid. So Chatella.
Yeah, we'll see if it's an absence. I like Chatella in this role here.
Cella chips. Siobhan John Brown trying to stay onside. Redirected it back towards the top of the 18, and then Chatella was hoping he'd have another opportunity at that crack.
Yeah, but he's active now, and he's got the freedom with Cella and Candela sitting in behind to find some of these open spaces behind the midfield of Detroit City, in front of the back 3. And look to exploit some of those spaces. And I think this is going to be a good role here for Danny Chatella.
That ball out of the reach of Jimmy Filerman from Vienna, Virginia. The left midfielder for Detroit City. Bardich. Pleva. And the breakup there, George Chamakov from Sofia, Bulgaria, the holding mid. In his 7th year with Detroit City FC, he and Ibrahim Kante, the holding mids for 2nd straight games tonight for Detroit City, both for Trevor James and assistant Javi Bautista. They're going with nearly the identical lineup that they had Saturday in their victory over New Amsterdam.
You know, it could be part of what Chatella can give you as the 10 in this role when you have the ball, but sometimes even more importantly, you're just mentioning the two central kind of holding midfielders for Detroit City. So with Chatella further up the field, he's going to be able to look after those two guys and try to make it difficult for them to play through there and give a little bite to that part of the field against those two holding midfielders for Detroit City. So it works both ways when you move a Danny Chatella up to that number 10 position. Offensively with the ball, he's capable of adding and aiding the attack, but also without the ball, he's going to be a disruptor for those guys in the central part of the midfield for Detroit City.
Venegas, ball went back for Kafari. That was Filerman for Detroit City FC in the air. And Filerman tried to play Connor Rutz forward. Nice knockdown by the Cosmos. Chatella with a chip. Acuna, nice ball. However, he was trying to find Bardich. There's Stephen Carroll on the handle for Detroit City FC, the center back for La Rouge, as they are referred to by their supporters. Carroll had one of the goals last year by Detroit City FC in their 2 games last year against the Cosmos. A midfield throw for Detroit City FC. Lewis, another ball win. Jariri, the left back from Zimbabwe through the Zimbabwe national team. John Brown, he was knocked down earlier, back to his feet. Cork with the pressure from Sean-Claude Lawson. No score early in this one. And then a late challenge, and they'll get Connor Rutz for the foul. Make that a yellow, actually. Rutz had the foul, but our center referee, Christian Centeno, issuing a card.
Yeah, an early card, but I think this is certainly justified, as you see, showing with the studs up there. He's going for the ball, but when his foot is off the ground like that, I think that's why the referee saw that as a yellow card. I believe that's going to go to...
That's Azid Matthews.
Yeah.
That picks up the yellow. The game-winning goal here last fall at Mitchell Field. Pleva with a chip down the middle. Onto it, Lawson. And Lawson trying to sprint Matthews forward. Pleva on the takeover. Luban. And room for Bledi Bardich. Carroll handled the cross. First card of the match by Christian Centeno.
Yeah, and you know, some people might think this is a quick card, but it's just the fact that his foot is off the ground and the studs are exposed. And I think that's, you have to protect players against those type of plays. There's nothing malicious in that challenge there by Matthews, but I think it's a justified caution there from the referee. If his foot is on the ground, if the studs aren't exposed, if he's not leading with the studs and there's contact with another part of the boot, then you're probably not cautioned in that situation. But the way that happened right there, I think you have to give a yellow card there, and you have to protect the players.
Lewis and Pleva with Calm Luban. Down the middle looking for Acuna. And at the top of the 18, Jean Antoine, some hesitation. Well, he was right on the yellow line there. He had to back off for a moment. And Acuna was right in his grill. And Jean Antoine, that was a very close play for Antoine to perhaps pick up a yellow. Right at the edge of that 18.
Yeah, there's, the football lines, obviously it's not ideal that you have some other lines, lacrosse and field hockey possibly on the field here. So the box, the 18, is the yellow line. To me, during live action, it looked like he handled it outside the box. If it's on the line, it's part of the box.
Yeah, it ended up as Acuna actually got a little piece of it to chip the ball first for a shot, and then the handle by Antoine appeared to be about
close.
A half yard outside the box.
Yeah, very close. Like I said, when it happened live, that felt like he did handle it outside the box without being directly on the 18. But Antoine has done a good job earlier in the game being outside, picking off that ball before it got to Isaac Acuna. Now that last bit, so it's where his hands are, nothing else. It's if you drew a line, a plane straight up from the 18, straight up to the sky. If he's touching any part of that line with his hands when the hand touches the ball, then it's fine. It's not handling outside the box. It doesn't matter where his feet are or his head or anything else. It's did he touch the ball within the plane of the 18 or inside the box? And, when I looked at it again that second time, I think he might have been okay.
And just another point, Sal, it appeared that the shot by Acuna initially hit Antoine in the chest first, which was much more further in to the 18. Nevertheless, it's a tough call, a tough judgment call for Christian Centeno, our center referee, and it looks like he did get it right, I think. And that's how close it is to the naked eye. We play on 19th minute, Detroit City FC visiting the New York Cosmos tonight in NISA action. Ralph Bednarczyk, Sal Rosamilia. This is the regular season finale for Detroit City FC. They'll get a nice break down to September 21st to October 2nd for the NISA postseason fall tournament. Location yet to be announced. While the Cosmos, they play tonight and then Saturday at Chattanooga. And that'll conclude their 4-game regular season.
And then come home for a while and then eventually have to bus to
be announced.
Single location tournament.
Nothing has been easy about the schedule making and the logistics, but fortunately, as we've said in previous broadcasts, it's important that it's happening. And this fall tournament, or this fall regular season, will lead to a tournament, and then the champion of the fall postseason tournament will be given a bid into the spring championship tournament. And that's the carrot at the end of the stick. That's the reward for this, and what we hope will be a world and a soccer world back to normal for the springtime.
It's a nice tease. That's a little bit of what Eric Stover and I spoke about.
Yep.
That we'll see at halftime.
And now a Cosmo is issued a yellow. That's Mattiacella upset. First yellow out against New York.
Yeah, we'll take a look. And he's up high. You see that's coming up across the shin guard, and that's why. It's not leading with the studs. It's slightly different than it was on the caution to Yazid Matthews. But his foot's off the ground. He's coming up midway through the shin. And if you're going to caution Matthews a few minutes earlier, I think you have to caution Cella there. Neither player is thrilled with the yellow card, but I'm okay with Centeno protecting players in the central third of the field in those type of tackles.
Venegas enters in the air, a player for Detroit City, and the foul will go the other way against LaRouge. Goal kick coming for Jesse Cork, so a yellow apiece. The Cosmos over their 19-day layoff. Interesting hearing from Carlos Mendez and the coaching staff how they approached it in your interview that we heard pregame, Sal, and as well as talking to the staff. They went with 2 full intra-squad 90-minute games with the rosters assembled. Then they went about 5 60-minute full sessions on top of the usual training that they're doing, just to kind of keep some structure to game legs. Cork, while backpedaling, a goalie kept it alive.
Well, you have to do that during the layup just to keep the match fitness up for the players who have been playing regularly, and it's been sort of a regular set lineup for the Cosmos, give or take some injuries here or there. But I think it's also a recognition from Carlos Mendez that they're going to need more players than they've used up to this point. You know, they're not going to be able to go with the exact same starting lineup 3 days from now after a long bus trip if guys are playing many minutes today.
This is Chatella as Chatella gets in, and then a terrific defensive play made by Carroll, taking a shooting chance opportunity from the Cosmos. Well, Carroll closed down the window as Chatella sprinted down the middle of the field.
Yeah, and he has that ability to get forward, get in the box. Good first touch bringing it down. I'm not sure if he was quite aware of the defensive pressure that was coming.
26-year-old Stephen Carroll from Cork, Ireland. Members Cup 11 all-conference player. What a ball that was played in, but look at Chatella at first having time.
Yeah, great first touch, right into his path. It's just not bouncing perfectly for him, and good effort there from Detroit City to knock it away.
Now Chatella, as he is tangled up before Luban sends Acuna out. Carroll. Bardich trying to go wide for Siobhan John Brown. Luban able to win it back for Pleva. So the Cosmos with perhaps 3 half chances. We remain scoreless tonight. They have been a difficult team to break down. Detroit City FC. Going back to the 2 meetings last year, the consistent term from the Cosmos coaching staff is just how organized Detroit City is and has been. Bardich taking Filerman out wide. Bardich played a good ball in front, and then Carroll battle for the second ball. Bardich, and played away from him.
We can see Detroit City very organized without the ball, and keeping their shape defensively, not a lot of gaps to play through. And this is a team that's also coming in off of 2 straight shutouts, their last 2 matches.
Yeah, Javi Bautista commending that this particular group in 2020 that Detroit City had to replace a terrific center attacking midfielder, Danny Deacon, who was a member of Orlando City in the MLS. Deacon then left in January for an opportunity with Sheffield in the EPL, and he has since at least paused his career, but it was a big loss. Arguably the most talented player among the Members Cup teams a year ago. But this is a group that technically one of the best on-the-ball groups that Detroit City FC has had in a while. We'll get the foul against New York into the 26th minute. The Cosmos have knocked on the door a couple of times. And that's a poor touch, and that's going to lead to a New York offensive end throw. Anciagoli, not yet as active as we've seen him.
Well, the last couple of games we saw, Cosmos were with 3 in the back, and Agoli had a little bit more freedom. He was pushed farther up the field to start. So now with 4 in the back and him as that left back, just has to sit at home a little bit. And of course, Detroit City has some talented players up top that they have to be constantly aware of. So
Cella to check back.
as the match goes on, certainly Anciagoli will look for those opportunities to try to find some space, wait for the right moments to get forward.
Cella had stopped his run. Luban, the return for rookie Mattia Cella. Good ball played in by Candela for Bartic. Bartic with a cross, looking for the trailing Chatella. A head ball in, and not much on it. So Jean-Antoine high in the air to grab it.
Yeah, good little build-up, some nice connections there. Quick passing created that chance. Wasn't totally a clean opportunity, but you could see what Chatella can do there, just coming in with some aggression, getting a toe to it, keeping the ball alive.
Luban. Vincenzo Candela. And now the Cosmos winning that possession battle significantly over the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Earlier in the game, it was Detroit City. The first few minutes that were playing in the Cosmos half of the field defensively. But since then, Cosmos have found a nice rhythm, moving the ball quickly. And sometimes you don't see the rewards of this type of play now. But if you can keep possession and maintain it for a long time and wait for the right chance, try to expose some gaps there in Detroit and just get them constantly moving without the ball, well, then come the 70th minute or so, they start to get a little bit more fatigued than you are. And there's where the field opens up and the chances get created with a little bit more frequency.
Chatella continued the run after Bartic had brought the ball down beautifully.
Yeah, this was after a little give and go on the side of the field. Bartic pulling it back, and you just see that there, the aggression from Chatella, and that's by having him further up the field, not sitting back as a defensive midfielder. He can get into that box and just keep a ball alive. It didn't lead to a goal that time, but perhaps other times throughout the match it could lead to something.
And a foul against Detroit City FC. And this is a dangerous spot. Any opponent of the Cosmos have several great options here inside of 40 yards, and it's going to be maybe their most dangerous one, Anciagoli, to take this.
Yeah, well, this is with the left foot on that side of the field. He could always curl one towards the far post, always working on goal. Asking some questions of Jean-Antoine, the goalkeeper, whether he's going to come or not. And the Cosmos have some big targets, certainly, that they can crash in the box.
A goalie, and high in the air, handling it, Detroit City FC. Both Cosmos goals last year were scored off of restarts in their games against LaRouche. One was a Matt Lewis head ball. The other was a Darwin Espinal restart shot. And something of concern again for Detroit City defending that, particularly when the goalie is the one playing it in. Battle for the second ball and a heavy collision. And fortunate that at least Chatella popped back up, and it's going to be Chatella that picks up the yellow card. Looked like a dangerous collision, and Chatella is upset. We'll check on the Detroit City player.
Yeah, I think the Detroit City player got the worst of this here.
And that's Ibrahim Kante, and at first glance, remember, there are no fans here, so we can really hear things, and that sounded like an NFL Sunday helmet to helmet.
Yeah, good to see him getting up fairly quickly, though. Chatella bounced up right away. He seemed to be not much the worse of it there. You see Chatella is able to come up pretty quickly.
So Chatella picks up the yellow, and we have stoppage time, but meanwhile, good to see Ibrahim Kante. Came to Detroit City, or came to the U.S. originally as a trialist for Philadelphia Union in January of the MLS. Didn't make the team, but then couldn't get out of the country after hanging around. He was hoping to latch on elsewhere. The lockdowns happened, and he trialed with Detroit City in mid-July, made the team. Spent 5 years playing previously in Indonesia. So fortunate that Ibrahim perhaps will go through the protocol, and hopefully he can remain in for Le Rouge. So into the final week of the regular season, here's where things stand. And remember, the Cosmos into tonight, they have a game in hand, as does Chattanooga. But right now, the Michigan Stars with 5 points. They have a trip to New Amsterdam on Saturday. Sal, you and I will be on that call. So an opportunity to clinch the regular season for George Yunchai's club coming up on Saturday. Big opportunity.
It depends what happens here. If the Cosmos win their next 2 games, they're
that's 6
champions.
more points too.
Right, so they've got 2 games left. The 3 points here tonight from the Cosmos, even one, draws them level with the Stars, with each having a game to play. Of course, Detroit City, if they win, get the 3 points, they'll be clear in first place with 7. But Michigan, at that point, will still have a chance to jump them to get to 8 points if they can win in New Amsterdam. You see, Chatella did get a little knock on the head there. He's okay, which is nice to see that he will continue, but clearly both players did get a knock there, and were obviously checked out for quite some time by each of the training staffs, and Chatella is ready to get back on the field, and we'll hope that the same is the case for Ibrahim Kante. And I do. I see him going out there, number 55.
Great sign for both teams. And remember, the Cosmos already playing without Darwin Espinal, so should Chatella have to exit the match, that radically changes who the Cosmos have been, particularly in the midfield for these last 2-3 years.
Yeah, Danny Chatella has been just one of the hardest, toughest players in every league, on every team he's played for, and we've seen that the last bunch of years here for the New York Cosmos.
So both players getting set to come back in. So we'll have some stoppage time at the end of this first half. No score, the Cosmos and Detroit City. On somewhat of a humid evening in Uniondale.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they were scheduled a water break.
It came at a good time for both Kante and Chatella. Rutz. As Connor Rutz runs into a pair of Cosmos. Deep throw coming to Detroit City. Connor Rutz leads Detroit City with 4 goals and an assist. Just graduated from Saginaw Valley State, a Division II second-team All-American, and that's a good league, the GLIAC. He was the Offensive Player of the Year with 10 goals, 6 assists, and has continued that here at the pro level as a foul will be against Ibrahim Kante over the back of Ansi Agoli. And perhaps Kante is going to get himself a yellow as well. So that's now 2 apiece.
Well, when you give one early, and I agreed with the one that he gave early to Yazid Matthews, right, with the studs up off the ground. And that was, I believe, in the 14th minute, 12th, 14th minute, something like that. So when you're giving one early, you're setting the tone that, okay, you know, and now you just have to be consistent. So anything that's borderline, and that one maybe was borderline, you kind of have to show the caution, because here's where you've set the standard for the match, and players just want to see consistency there. And then if we get another look at that one from Conte, I think the problem was he was just grabbing from behind. You know, it was more if he grabbed with the hand, grabbed the shirt, and we'll take a look at it now. Good bit of skill for sure. And now you just see he's just grabbing from behind there. And then I don't think it was that last little bit. Again, that's borderline for me, but the fact that you've given 3 already at this point, you kind of have to draw a firm line in the sand, and anything close is going to be a caution. And now there's 4 players, as you mentioned, 2 on each team, that are playing with a caution right now. So they've got to be real careful to not receive a second. As happened in Detroit City's last match with New Amsterdam. I believe New Amsterdam ended the game with 9 players and Detroit City ended the game with 10.
Detroit City 2 games ago, Sal, certainly got a break with as Michael Kafari, who started at center back this year. Tonight he's a right back. He won a rare red card appeal in a game that was back on, I'll tell you the day, that was against Michigan Stars, August 22nd, as he was played a ball and then went into a tackle, but he jumped up kind of to, or someone went into a slide tackle against Michael Kafari. He jumped up, but ended up landing on the Michigan Stars player, got a red for that. But upon appeal, Detroit City was able to win that, and they had Kafari for their next game. As the league felt, NISA felt he made an effort to avoid the contact, and it was just coincidental that he ended up falling on the player making a slide tackle underneath him.
Well, good for the league for overturning the initial decision if they felt it was incorrect.
A foul against Bardich of the Cosmos.
There's no reason now, you know, there's no reason to, all games are filmed, everything's out there. We're seeing every sport, every league is basically going to video review to one extent or another. So NISA doing it not during the match, but post-match to take away a red card, I'm all for that.
Matthews in the air for the second ball for Detroit. Jariri under pressure of Bardich, handles it nicely. Kante trying to move it out wide. Cella had a beat on where that ball was going for the Cosmos. Acuna. And played well by Stephen Carroll. And Carroll defending well without fouling for Detroit City. Captain of this Le Rouge squad, a tremendous communicator, playing through a banged up knee, but he's been playing through it. Real indispensable piece of Detroit City's success over the last 4 years. Venegas enters in, played back to Antoine. Jean Antoine, Sal, you might appreciate this story. Antoine growing up in Haiti before moving to San Diego when he was 12, only started playing soccer at that age, 12, and only started playing in goal when he was 14. So that's just 12 years ago for the 26-year-old. And here he is in the 3rd division of U.S. soccer. And of course, in the world we are in, certainly you have a son that's been playing soccer probably since before he could walk. That's very late in this current soccer climate.
Yeah, late, but not for a goalkeeper, and I like that. You know, back in my days, that's all we did. You were a goalkeeper from 8 years old on. Now, the way the game has changed and the way the goalkeepers are forced to be good with their feet, great with their feet. The top goalkeepers are great with their feet. I think it makes sense to avoid the wear and tear on your body, you know, that you don't need to be a goalie at 10 and 12 years old. You know, you need to develop being a soccer player, because I think that's extremely important to the position these days. And like I said, many years ago when I played the position, it wasn't important to be a great soccer player. It was important to just be a goalie. You didn't have to play with your feet back then. And now that you do, you know, it's fine. He's had 12 years of learning the position, but he started the position being really good with his feet, and I think that's going to help make it. And we saw him on that early play in the game coming out of his 18 and getting a ball in front of Isaac Acuna that was going to be a real dangerous chance if he didn't. He's only able to do that because he's comfortable as a soccer player and not just a goalkeeper.
The other interesting aspect of Jean Antoine's career, and he spent over a year playing in the Mexican Indoor League for the Monterrey Flash. And you ever a chance to see indoor soccer, that can be a much different game for the goalie and otherwise How about that impact on his still, I think, still fledgling soccer career at that point when he was essentially in his late teens?
Well, certainly the ability to play with your feet is vital to be an effective indoor goalkeeper. As we see a goalie with a shot from distance. But it also gives you a lot of opportunities to make saves. You know, you're going to face 20 shots a game. Yeah, so mostly reaction saves. You know, you're not dealing with a lot of crosses in the indoor game by any means, but you're dealing with a lot of reaction saves, working angles, those kind of things. But indoor goalkeepers, same kind of deal here. You have to be great with your feet to be effective in that match. You know, Cosmos have settled for a couple of shots here from distance, and that just speaks to the organization and how effective Detroit City is defensively. Not really given a lot of room in the box to make connections, to get some space, so Cosmos are settling for some long-distance shots which really aren't going to test Antoine.
Acuna locating a wide-open Mattiacella. Andrew Luba on the right back. Vladi Bartic under the pressure of Ibrahim Conte. The Cosmos have controlled the flow, working on a good 20 minutes of that, with Detroit City chasing. New York looking for the breakthrough. Detroit City has remained organized into now the 43rd minute. Shatella looking for the turn. This one spins off of Tendai Jariri, and Jariri avoids the corner. And then sweeping in Connor Rutz, able to break up the pass, and it's going to be a throw for Detroit City.
And even with all this possession from the Cosmos, Antoine hasn't been seriously tested just yet here in the opening half so far. And they are going to be very dangerous on turnovers, on counterattacks, as they still have Jean-Claude Lawson up top, who can do some damage, you know, even 1 against 2. And of course, Connor Rutz and Yazid Matthews just behind Lawson. So Cosmos can't be lulled into a sense of security here because they've had possession. Because in a couple of seconds we can just see Lawson or Rutz or Matthews do some damage on a counterattack.
Shatella to the feet of Bartic. Able to work his way through one defender, but then cut off nicely. Advantage given for Detroit City as a foul committed by the Cosmos to prevent any transition. Coming up at the break, we'll have interviews with Carlos Mendez and Chief Operating Officer Eric Stover of the New York Cosmos. Sal did both interviews. That's coming up at the break. We should have about 2 minutes or so of stoppage time. So you spoke to Eric Stover. There you did tease some news earlier.
Well, he did a nice job of explaining sort of what the rest of the season and the playoff situation is going to look like, answering some questions that I know people, you know, have had about it, including you and I, what the format's going to look like. And then also, you know, Eric did a great job addressing, you know, the initial postponement of this match between these two clubs. I'll leave him to get further into it, but certainly Detroit City, you know, following the shooting of Jacob Blake, the players decided as a team to boycott the match in protest. And, you know, the Cosmos were very supportive of that, as was NISA, the entire league. All players, all clubs kind of in the line along with that, and Eric addressed that as well. So I think it was a valuable few minutes, and always great to have the opportunity to speak with Eric Stover and Carlos Mendez as he kind of gave us a little recap of what's gone on so far for the Cosmos this year, and also what the rest of the season looks like for him in control.
Yep, the Detroit City players made the decision on Thursday, August 27th, after training that day. They were scheduled to play the Cosmos initially Saturday, August 29th, so they were about to get on a plane the next day, so they had to make a decision at that point. And that came in the hours of that afternoon where essentially every league was making decisions on canceling, postponing, boycotting, however you want to phrase it, in the aftermath of the Jacob Blake situation, including the MLS. And the Cosmos accepted Detroit City's decision. And here we are playing on Wednesday, September 9th. Final minute of stoppage time. Detroit City had the early possession, first 5 minutes, and had a couple of areas where they could have had a quality restart. Matt Lewis won a couple of head balls, and then a good 20 to 25 minute period where the Cosmos controlled the flow of play, but Detroit City never really gave up that killer through ball or that opportunity. As Luban connects here with Acuna. Acuna again able to check back, and then eventually the clearance by Kafari.
Well, that's not where you want to see Acuna coming and checking back for a ball. If Cosmos are playing 4-2-3-1, he's the one up top. You like to see him getting his touches, top of the box, around the D, even inside the box at times, but you see, he hasn't really gotten a lot of opportunities today. Credit to Detroit City for how they've defended him. And now he's coming way into the midfield to try to get some touches on the ball. It's not ideal for New York.
That's it for the first half. The Cosmos started to build up into some better chances, but unable to break through. Detroit City remaining stingy. No score at the half. We'll come back and hear from Carlos Mendez, head coach of the Cosmos, and the Cosmos Chief Operating Officer Eric Stover. That's coming up on mycujo.tv.
To all our MediaCom customers, thank you.
We just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting us to keep your family connected.
We'll do whatever it takes.
Yep, we got you. Thank you so much for being patient and your support.
You all are the reason that we do what we do, and we couldn't do it without you.
So thank you. We appreciate you, and please stay safe.
Thank you for being a part of our MediaCom family.
You're the best.
Thank you.
I set you free. I told you you could.
No score between the New York Cosmos and Detroit City FC tonight in Uniondale on mycujo.tv. Earlier this week, my partner Sal Rosamilia had a chance to speak to New York Cosmos head coach Carlos Mendez to get a summary of what's been going on, especially ahead of this key stretch for New York.
Carlos, last match against New Amsterdam, a little bit different script. You know, your prior matches, you had gotten the early lead, given up a late goal in those matches for draws. The New Amsterdam game gave up an early goal, was able to fight back right before halftime to tie it, got an early goal in the second half, building off that momentum, and then finally were able to get that insurance goal and put a team away. Can you find something that was different in that match or training leading up to that match that gave you the more positive result than the previous games?
I think we just we spoke about, obviously, after the previous couple of games in terms of just mentality and being a mature team. And, we showed a lot of character. Obviously, a difficult game on the road, you go down and to fight your way back. I think that's a game that you can build on in terms of just the character and the mentality of the team. And that's something that's obviously a big positive that we took from that. Obviously, again, playing a man down for a big portion of it too. And so for us, we were proud of that. We still have things to work on, but in terms of turning a game around, falling behind and testing the group, I think in that match we did well. And obviously that's a positive that will continue to grow on.
Well, you've had 4 games now, 2 in the NISA Cup, Independent Cup, and now 2 in the fall regular season portion of the schedule. What are some of the positives that that you've seen so far in these first 4 games?
We've had very good moments throughout those games. I think that we just in terms of as a group, we'll have to be, again, we talked about being a more mature team and more complete. And I think every week and every game we've kind of gotten better with that. So that's something that you have to look at, and I think we're growing. And we're learning, and that's you want to be learning from each game, taking the positives, taking the negatives, and trying to improve on those. And that's something that we've done, and we need to continue to do if we're going to be successful and obviously try to win a championship this year. So we'll continue to look forward now, and we have to be ready for these next couple of games, and then head over to the playoffs and try to put our best performance, because it'll be a short window to make sure that we're successful.
And you've also had now 4 games to kind of see rooms for improvement where you can still grow as a team, as a club. What are some of those things you've identified where you need to work on over the next couple of games, over the next couple of weeks to try to get that championship?
For us, we have to understand that when you represent the club in your Cosmos, that teams are hungry and are always up for a game, and that if you don't put together a good 90 minutes plus, that anything can happen. And obviously we've given up some late goals in terms of earlier in the season, and that's something that you have to get better with. And I think it's just mentality, and we've spoken about that a lot. And I feel like the guys have responded well, and each week we've gotten better, and I think improved on our game plan, and just kind of had a better understanding. And moving forward, it's just going to get more difficult. So we're looking forward to the challenge. We're obviously this is the most exciting part now of the season, the next couple of weeks, and I think all the guys are ready.
Well, you mentioned the next couple of weeks. You have this match, obviously, tonight with Detroit City, and then you go on the road for the final of your 4 games here in the fall regular season against Chattanooga. And then beyond that, the playoffs. Talk about what the logistics of all this is going to be like and how this is going to affect you and, in the next few weeks.
The challenge, obviously, it's a good challenge, and I think it's going to give a lot of players opportunities to play. And I think the most important thing and the most successful team in this league will be the team that has the deepest team that's ready to play. And obviously, with the travel schedule and everything like that, it's going to be a lot. And it's just, for me, it's, for the staff, we're looking to give guys now to step up and give guys opportunities. And I think the team that is playing the most complete and has the deepest team is going to have the most success going into the playoffs.
And the travel is going to be after tonight's match, quick turnaround bus trip, I'm guessing, down to Chattanooga. And then what after that match, what do you see in store for the playoffs?
Yeah, there'll be a really quick turnaround. Obviously, after the game, we'll assess where everyone's at and have a travel roster for Chattanooga. And it's, of course, a very long bus ride. So we'll get over there as safely and as quickly as possible. And then we'll have time to recover, have a training session there and be ready for Saturday night. And then we'll come back into New York and have the week. We're not sure yet of the playoff schedule. We'll have the week to train here, prepare, and then head out to Michigan to be ready for the playoffs.
Coach, thanks a lot. We look forward to watching the next couple matches, and good luck to you in the playoffs.
Thank you.
All right, there's thoughts from Carlos Mendez, third-year head coach of the New York Cosmos. His team trying to break through against Detroit City FC tonight on their home field. We'll come back and hear from Chief Operating Officer Eric Stover of the Cosmos when we return.
At East Village Loves NYC, we're New Yorkers, so we understand the importance of having each other's backs. That means ensuring that everybody has enough to eat. Now with a pandemic, keeping each other fed is more urgent than ever. We're a volunteer-run non-profit where every donation goes to feeding those who are hardest hit. With just 80 cents, we can make a healthy and nutritious meal. Donate today and help a New Yorker get back on their feet.
No score at the half between the New York Cosmos and Detroit City FC. Well, let's welcome in Sal's interview with the Chief Operating Officer of the New York Cosmos, Eric Stover. A lot going on to get this fall season underway, including a look at the postseason tournament and the ramifications of these games tonight. So let's hear from Eric Stover.
Eric, tonight's match against Detroit City was originally scheduled for August 29th. It was postponed at that time because Detroit City felt like they weren't ready to play with what was happening. Give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think there's a tremendous amount of leadership out of the Detroit City players. As I understand it, it was really their initiative to make a public statement and to not only make a statement, but to be out in the community and try to rally support for Black Lives Matter and to address a lot of the injustices that are going on in the United States. So we were very supportive of them in that decision. And again, we applaud that not only did they make a statement, but they went out and did something. As a club, we always try to do that. The empty social media statements is not something we look to do. We try to be out in the community and live that cosmopolitan lifestyle. So we were very encouraged to see the initiative that the Detroit City players took and the actions that they continue to take in their community.
And now that we get through this match, looking forward to the rest of the fall regular season, what's the plan for NISA and the playoffs as far as you can tell us at this point?
Well, first off, there's some exciting news. I think many fans of the Cosmos and NISA would have seen that we have a broadcast deal for the tournament with beIN Sports. That's tremendous opportunity for us. It's a great platform to put this league on. It's a young league, just getting started out. So to have the opportunity to be on live broadcast television is exciting. All the matches will be either streamed or on the over-the-top channel. So that I think is really, really exciting stuff. And it's a unique year. It's different. To have a 4-game regular season and then get into a playoff the way we plan on structuring it is not your typical year, but 2020 has definitely not been a typical year. So we're looking forward to that.
And the plan is the fall tournament playoff winner will get an automatic berth against the spring champion. Is that correct, how I understand it?
Yes. Yeah. So it's looking like, and I think will be determined officially by the end of this week, but it's looking like all 8 teams in sort of a mini World Cup structure of 2 groups of 4, and then semifinals and finals or something similar to that. Like I said, we would expect an announcement this week. And then the winner of this fall tournament will host the championship game in the spring. So that's gives a lot of things to play for right now, and still gives opportunity for expansion come 2021.
Yeah, it certainly has been a unique time, and the fact that NISA's teams, the Cosmos, have been a huge part of that. Finding a way to make it work, to provide an outlet for your players, for the club, for the fans, I think has been a wonderful thing.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the ownership groups, the board of governors, to step up and in a very difficult time in this country, not only because of the pandemic, but some of the other things we talked about with racial injustice going on throughout the country, and the difficulties we're having in Washington, for these owners to step up and keep this league going is a very brave thing for them to do. And I think it's led to a lot of positive news that's been coming out recently about the league, and more news will be following soon. So through a very challenging time, we've I think are coming out on the other side of it looking pretty good.
The NISA postseason fall tournament is set to be in a neutral venue September 21st to October 2nd. These 2 teams battling for seeding ahead of that tournament. No score, second half to come between the Cosmos and Detroit City.
To all our MediaCom customers, thank you.
We just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for trusting us to keep your family connected.
We'll do whatever it takes.
Yep, we got you. Thank you so much for being patient and your support.
You all are the reason that we do what we do, and we couldn't do it without you.
So thank you. We appreciate you, and please stay safe.
Thank you for being a part of our MediaCom family.
You're the best.
Thank you.
I set you free. I told you you could.
At East Village Loves NYC, we're New Yorkers, so we understand the importance of having each other's backs. That means ensuring that everybody has enough to eat. Now with a pandemic, keeping each other fed is more urgent than ever. We're a volunteer-run non-profit where every donation goes to feeding those who are hardest hit. With just 80 cents, we can make a healthy and nutritious meal. Donate today and help a New Yorker get back on their feet.
So the Cosmos and Detroit City FC taking the field for the second half. Ralph Bednarczyk with former Columbia All-American goalkeeper Sal Rosamilia. Cosmos had the better chances, but now it's going to be Parker Siegfried's turn. He makes his pro debut for Detroit City FC, 23 years old, just signed on Tuesday the 8th from South Georgia Tormenta FC in USL League One. He did not make an appearance there. He was the backup the whole season. Last summer, he was in the NPSL with Asheville City Soccer Club, just graduated from Ohio State. Was selected 74th overall by NYCFC in the 2020 MLS Super Draft, but didn't make it. Was the 4-year starter for the Buckeyes during his time there, and came up with Columbus Crew. And this was the move that Detroit City had to make to add a goalie for tonight, with Nate Steinwasser, their usual starter, unable to make the trip due to other work commitments. So Jean Antoine played the first half. Maybe a nervous moment or two, got past it. And now Parker Siegfried, perhaps more nervous moments as he makes his pro debut into this opportunity and occasion.
No, I think he'll be okay. It's a quality goalkeeper. Played in a great conference in college and played with some academies in his career as well. So it's a good opportunity for him. And you wonder if Nate Steinwasser wasn't able to come for a couple of days to New York to play against the Cosmos, might he not be able to go for 10 or 11 days in the single location tournament? So this could be a huge sign for Detroit City, signing Parker here, as he's a high-level goalie.
Here is Chatella as he plays a ball across Acuna, and he could not hit it cleanly. What a ball played in by Chatella, and Isaac Acuna knew if he hits the ball, even with a little quality, that is a dangerous testing ball against Siegfried.
Yeah, and that's just the grind that you see from Danny Chatella. That's why I like having him further up the field. Goes to the ground, just creates something almost out of nothing, just through great effort and work and determination. And a good opportunity, maybe the best opportunity for either team in the match there for Acuna.
Siegfried, while at Ohio State, 18 career shutouts, including a school record 6 consecutive. And he came up through the U.S. national team pools at U14, U15, U18, so he has seen a very high level, just not in game experience at this level recently. South Georgia Tormenta has a veteran established goalie named Pablo Yara that in USL League One is one of the known goalies at that level. That would be considered the second division of United States professional soccer. Or I should say just below the USL Championship division. But Siegfried has been training consistently throughout that time and now has his opportunity.
See clearly Detroit City with 5 in the back. You know, they started out and their formation was a 3-5-2, but being without the ball as much as they can, those two wing backs are sitting in deep. This is a deep back 5 with really 4 in front, and then the lone player up front now is Jean-Claude Lawson for Detroit City, and they'll just sit in and try to handle this pressure and look for a potential counterattack with Lawson.
First half numbers, Sal. Cosmos 6 shots, but over the last 25 minutes or so, they had the better of the possession time.
They did, yeah, and 3 on goal and 1 for Detroit City, but I can't remember either goalkeeper with those 4 shots in total on goal from both teams really being asked to make a huge save in that first 45 minutes. No real great restart opportunities for each team either. And that might be what we see as the decider here. If there is a deciding goal, might have to come from a mistake or a restart. Through the run of play, both teams just really organized and very difficult to break down. And
our center referee, Christian Centeno, a busy first half, handing out 4 cautions. Here he's going to restore some order and tell Jimmy Filerman to zip it after a collision. And meanwhile, notice Danny Chatella, after taking that knock, remember they put the green bandage around his head, went into the locker room, green bandage is gone.
Really, credit to the training staff, the accessorizing well with the green bandage and the green.
Yeah, that must be that might be a hard color to find when you're ordering.
Not when you're the Cosmos. Another player down. Referee's not paying much attention to him, but I got to say, as I've mentioned before, the uniforms, the Cosmos, are just perfect. Big giant white numbers, green strips. And we see, got a little bite of him there. Siobhan John Brown did. He's saying no.
That's Michael Kafari.
Because all he's giving is a throw in there.
Kafari going down for the second time in the match.
But it was on that follow through there. You can see there was a little bit of contact there with, I believe, the bottom of John Brown's boot. But the Cosmos badge will just look great, really, on any uniform, but it's popping on these green jerseys with the giant white numbers.
Makes our job super easy. And how can the Cosmos see a ball through and beat Parker Siegfried and this compact Detroit City defense? LaRouge, they've looked for the counter a couple of times. And we've mentioned his name, Jean-Claude Lawson, 7th year with Detroit City, the club's all-time leading goal scorer. This is Bledy Bardich from the outside of the shot blocked. That's Carroll, who had to be perfect. And then the ensuing foul. And that's Kafari again, favoring that ankle.
Yep. Referee's trying to get some order here. You see, this is a chance there. Turnover. And Stephen Carroll just putting his body on the line and blocking that. And I don't see a whole lot there from Kafari. It was again on his follow through. If there was a touch, it was very slight. Referee has his book out. I'm not sure who's getting cautioned here.
Michael Kafari, 6 games played last year for the New York Cosmos as he pleads his case, native of Ghana by way of Boise, Idaho.
Did he caution anyone?
And a yellow has been issued, Sal, to Bledy Bardich.
Well, it's keeping in line with the cautions that were shown in the first half, 2 to each side on similar type plays. There was a slight contact there again. It's been very consistent from Christian Centeno. That has been a caution all game long.
A sprint for Bardich. He has Acuna across, and Carroll again with this beautiful slide tackle to disrupt the pass. It'll be the match's first corner, but again, Stephen Carroll showing why he is a premier center back.
Yeah, Detroit City has done a good job in the second half here, putting their bodies on the line. You can see it's the last-ditch effort there. I think that might have been Filerman. Okay, Carroll. Either way, great play.
As the Cosmos play it short, and they'll end up turning it over. Lawson. Carroll with the return, and down the middle comes Connor Rutz. And Rutz for Yazid Matthews. And then the counter eventually shut down. Ansi Agoli for New York. Well, Sal, if you're Javi Bautista, Trevor James back in Michigan watching this one on mycujo.tv, what do you think the message was at the break? Is Detroit City certainly compact, organized? How about the thoughts to build on that?
Well, I think they're carrying out the game plan perfectly, you know, which is what a lot of teams do. They withstand the pressure. They know most likely the Cosmos are going to outpossess you over the course of 90 minutes.
There is Acuna as he duels with Carroll. And that's going to go back to a goal kick again. Well played by Carroll.
And it's just a matter of being able to withstand the pressure, and so far Detroit City has. You know, they've been outpossessed greatly in the match by Carlos Mendez and the New York Cosmos, but it hasn't really led to that decisive chance just yet, that great opportunity. In the first half, Jean-Antoine really wasn't tested greatly. Parker Siegfried so far in the second half hasn't been either. So I think that's what you're going to have to do on the road when you're playing the New York Cosmos, is be organized, wait for your opportunities, look for some potential counter-attacking opportunities. And you have a great striker in Jean-Claude Lawson, and you have a very hot player coming in Connor Rutz. So you have weapons.
And then an energy player you just saw come on, Ryan Peterson, will come on up top, replacing Jean-Claude Lawson. Native of Bud Lake, New Jersey. Detroit City stayed not far away from Ryan's hometown. They were staying in Parsippany. That's where they chose to stay overnight last night after the 9.5-hour bus ride. Peterson, a 2018 Rutgers graduate, played 2 years there for Dan Donegan, then after coming over, playing 2 years at NC State. Good ball played out wide, Filerman. And then Filerman, that poor first touch evaded him. Peterson known as just a work rate player up top. Trying to put some pressure on this back foursome of New York. Conte. Siobhan John Brown. Then the return for John Brown. And then as he overran it, Kafari was allowed to recover and give up the throw. Now, Siobhan John Brown has been dangerous this fall season, still searching for that first goal. Carlos Mendez telling us before the game on the 22nd against 21st against New Amsterdam, he has a goal in him. He has seen it in their intra-squad sessions and in training. Luban. Next ball played into the feet of Acuna, and the wall of Detroit City players able to shut that down. Advantage given to the Cosmos. Next ball played in by Cella. Looks for John Brown, and it'll be another deep throw for New York. Luban. Space for Bartic. Numbers to the front. Luban had the occasion, Sal. You saw it head up, considering to shoot. Andrew Luban had a terrific career as a goal scorer at Wake Forest, playing right back at this level.
Yeah, it was a good decision not to. Bartic was open. You have to try to draw defenders out. They're just so sitting in deep and centrally down the spine of the field.
A goalie.
You got to get some more balls wide to Bartic if you can get a goalie up the field on the other side as well. Try to draw some of those defenders out. At times they're sitting in right then and there. They had 6 white shirts lined up inside the area to deal with that cross in from Bartic. So you got to get some wide players up the field capable of whipping balls into the box. Shooting through all that traffic from 30 yards out is probably not going to do it against any goalkeeper at this level.
Isaac Acuna has gotten into the second half. He suffered a hamstring injury in mid-August, has recovered enough, especially with the 19 days between games. Carlos Mendez saying it's allowed him to get his fitness back. Cosmos do have Ali Hassan, who had filled into that forward spot when Acuna was working himself back into fitness as an option off the bench, but Acuna has remained in, looks like for a good 60 plus. Cella. Luban. And telegraphed the pass. Taken away by Jimmy Filerman, just graduated from Old Dominion, where he was a 4-year starter there, second team All-Conference USA. Played in USL 2 East Side FC last summer. So this is a big step up for Filerman. 2 weeks before the Independence Cup in July, came on as a trialist in intra-squad scrimmages from Vienna, Virginia. It was a tricky time for all clubs at the NISA level, USL levels. After the lockdowns, when you're resuming seasons, who's still around? Who's still in the country? As many foreign players, once the lockdowns began, many foreign players elected to go back to their home countries. And we'll get our first Cosmos sub. And it's going to be Ali Hassan. A goal on the 21st of August against New Amsterdam FC that he dedicated to his now late father, Marvin Hassan, who passed away in early August. Ali was away from the team for a game. So Ali replacing Isaac Acuna up top as striker.
Cosmos are playing it across the midfield, really just trying to draw Detroit City out slightly to create some space in behind, and Detroit City is not biting.
A goalie as he whipped that ball in. Cella settles to the feet of Luban. New York trying to stretch the field. Detroit, with tremendous discipline, has not allowed them. And can Detroit create offense off of that? Look at Cork. Well out nearly to the 25-yard line. Filerman spun it back in. Matt Lewis. The other thing, Sal, Detroit City through this point into the 62nd minute has done well. They have avoided fouling and giving up quality restarts to the Cosmos. Just one corner, and the one quality restart New York has had, that was from just inside the 40-yard line for Ansiagoli. And they have neutralized the Cosmos' great strengths, or one of them being a goalie's left foot, and then Matt Lewis and some others in the air on head balls.
Yeah, absolutely. They're disciplined, they're organized, they've kept their shape. There hasn't been many chances today where the Cosmos have been able to go one-on-one, isolate defenders. Cosmos have remained patient for the most part in the first 62 minutes of the match. Hopefully Hassan, somebody, this is a mistake game, a restart game, or just one little bit of striker brilliance. So maybe Ali Hassan, the substitute for the Cosmos at the 9 position, has something special in him. And Detroit City hoping the same thing with Ryan Peterson, who they brought in and is now playing up top for them.
Kevin Venegas. And Venegas in his first year with Detroit City. Last year with the Cosmos. Had a brief cup of coffee in the MLS in 2017. Made 6 appearances in the inaugural season of Minnesota United FC. Came up with the Minnesota Stars FC when they were known that at the time in the old NASL. And Venegas now facing the Cosmos on his own old field as Luban makes the run. Then Luban, and his shot, no contact, and that'll just be a goal kick. Andrew Luban just didn't hit it well enough.
Well, the ball's just bouncing on him. It's not rolling properly. There it is. He popped it up to himself, and it just never got back rolling. And you see it just came sideways off the laces, and that came from a touch, just 1 or 2 touches prior to that, where he just popped it up to himself, unfortunately for him.
Another sub on for New York. The Cosmos will take out Vincenzo Candela at the midfield. Here is the speedy Gio Alves, 24-year-old that signed with the Cosmos in July. A Vermont graduate, 2019, that was also selected in the MLS Super Draft. 62nd by DC United. He had an opportunity to train with them. Major career at the college level, 2 years at Vermont. 19 goals, 9 assists in 2 years there, after being a junior college All-American.
Well, Hassan coming on for Acuna was just a straight switch, striker for striker. Alves coming on now is this is more of an attacking player than Candela was for the Cosmos. He'll be pressed further up the field. It might mean that Chatella drops in a little bit to cover defensively for where Vincenzo Candela just was, but certainly Gio Alves is coming on to be a spark offensively for New York.
And that's the right word, Sal. Is Carlos Mendez, first time he met Gio Alves, just saw how dynamic he is, and he stretches games. But Alves will do it from a more centralized position.
And that's what happens now. It's Alves is in that spot further forward where Chatella was for the first 60-plus minutes. But this game needs, the way Detroit City's playing, how organized they are, and how well they've done defensively, this game needs a one-on-one dynamic type player that can break a defense down, sometimes 1 against 2, make something special happen, create an opportunity that's not there yet.
Luban, as he looked to go across, it finds the feet of Chatella. Chatella looked inside for Alves. And then the Cosmos foul as Ibrahim Kante was in good position. Kante took a tough knock late in the first half, stayed in the match. Head-to-head contact with Danny Chatella, and they both have stayed. Second ball won briefly by Kevin Venegas. And Venegas amidst a crowd of Cosmos, and then the foul against Detroit City. Good work there by Kevin Venegas, who starts the night at right midfield for Detroit City. He's kind of been a right back in his pro career, and including his time last year with New York. And now a yellow has been issued against, I think, Anciagoli.
Yeah, and that's just because he's not happy with what Detroit City does here. Watch, they'll throw it. Goalie wants to get it, he wants to play. Wasting some time and now throwing it over his head, and you can see the kick out there. That'll get you a caution every single time. There's no reason for that. Let the referee handle what Detroit City was doing. Every team's going to do that. They're going to waste some time the way they've been playing. They're going to throw the ball away. They're not going to want you to get that restart going quickly before they can get organized and get 11 players behind the ball. Veteran player like a goalie has to understand that that's exactly what they're going to do. You hope the referee maybe cautions the Detroit City player for time wasting and not allowing the Cosmos to play quickly, but you can't swipe out like that. And maybe what he said afterwards to the referee was what got him the caution.
That's Bartic looking for a cross. Anciagoli, 37 years old, longtime member of the Albanian national team, has been their captain. Has played over 150 games in the Azerbaijan Premier League. And here's a sub for Detroit City. Here's Evans Frimpong, 31-year-old, former All-American at Delaware and former draft choice of the Chicago Fire. He has been the usual starting center midfielder in early August. Former first-round pick of Chicago, number 9 overall back in 2012, Sal. You and I go way back with him. We did a game of Evans Frimpong when he had just arrived at the University of Delaware in, let's say, August 2010, before his career really blew up. Had a nice junior year at Delaware for your pal Ian Hennessy, and then his senior year, second-team All-American, Herman Trophy semifinalist. That's the Heisman of college soccer, CAA Player of the Year, and he took Delaware to their first-ever CAA tournament title and beat Virginia in the first round of the NCAA tournament. That was what Evans Frimpong accomplished the last time you and I saw him.
Yeah, and you'd mentioned Coach Ian Hennessy there with the great program at the University of Delaware, one of the absolute top coaches. Can't call him young anymore. He's older than I am, and I'm not young. So, but still one of the top coaches everywhere, not just college level. A great person to play for, and I'm sure was a big part of the success that Evans Frimpong had.
We get a water break here. Stoppage time will be added at the end of the second half, so we'll have a look at the Cosmos schedule coming up. So it starts tomorrow morning because they're going to get on the bus down to Virginia. Should be 9.5, 10 hours, and then continue it on Friday to go to Chattanooga to play in always a tough environment to win, Finley Stadium, even though the supporters won't be there. But Chattanooga is always a club that has a very high standard that they play to.
Absolutely, and a club that'll be a threat in the tournament coming up in a couple of weeks, along with these two teams here, Chattanooga without question, and Michigan Stars, who currently still sit at the top of the table in the Eastern Conference.
Lubon, after Siegfried's goal kick, switches fields for a moment, and Hassan heads it forward. So Frimpong is in the middle of the park. Ibrahim Kante gets a well-deserved rest. This is Yazid Matthews that comes off the sideline with it, and he picks up the foul. He got good position on Andrew Lubon, and this will give Detroit City a chance to send some numbers forward.
Cosmos have to be aware, you know, the counter is what's going to counter, or restarts is what's going to hurt New York if they're going to be scored upon tonight. And now some fresh legs in for Detroit City. A lot of their players have just been running without the ball for the majority of the 70 minutes so far tonight.
Jariri played it in, almost in the air. It worked out perfectly for Connor Rutz. Well, the top players for Detroit City tonight, Lawson, Rutz, Yazid Matthews, they have just not been in any attacking third positions tonight. A lot has to do with the Cosmos' overwhelming possession advantage. But they are still dangerous players with a long track record. Kafari. And then he runs out of room. New York and a goalie looking to quicken up the pace here in a throw from midfield. Alves lays it in for Hassan. And Ali Hassan and the Cosmos bench pleading for a corner, but our center referee points to Siegfried.
Detroit hasn't come out and pressured these balls going back and forth, as we'll see this here. Who's it off last right now? Off a Cosmo player last. That's the right call. But we haven't seen just yet the Cosmos trying to play that long ball behind the defenders. There hasn't been many chances. I thought that was a chance right there as it was being cycled back and forth between the center backs, and a couple of the Detroit City players did come aggressively and try to come out, and the back line did move forward, maybe up to the 30-yard line on the football field. And I would like to see, it's not the prettiest, but the way it's going right now, a long ball over the top, let the defenders face their goal. Let some of the forwards and dynamic players like Alves and Siobhan John Brown and even Ali Hassan up top, let them go compete for some balls in open spaces, because nobody's had any opportunities in open spaces tonight for either team, really.
And the Cosmos still with just that one corner kick to show for it. Normally, they have a greater volume of corners relative to the amount of possession time that they've had. And that's a great credit, again, to Detroit City's stingy defense and organization. And there's been no shots on goal in this second half. Into the 75th minute before Matthews makes a move and then lays a ball in. He had Rutz running down the middle. And that's how dangerous Detroit City FC, that could be their recipe for success tonight here on the road at Mitchell Field. LaRouge won a game here last October 2-1, getting a goal in the 8th minute. And then a Yazid Matthews goal in the 30th minute made it 2-0. The Cosmos had consistent pressure all night long. They made it 2-1 on a Matt Lewis head ball, but Detroit City hung on for that win. That was the de facto Members Cup championship game. They got a great performance up in Detroit last September from goalie Nate Steinwasser, where he really was the man of the match in a 1-1 tie. Siegfried, as he handles it cleanly. Tonight, Detroit City has protected both goalies well. Jean Antoine, who started, and Siegfried making his pro debut in this second half. Venegas connecting with Matthews. Dummied through by John Brown. Alvis. Space for Hassan. A goalie in space and trying to volley it. That was Gio Alvis. Not bad for the effort, Sal.
No, yeah, you won't see many of those end up close to the target there. I'm not sure if that was definitely going to be on goal. It looked like it might have been going just a bit wide. But a nice bit of skill there, timing it right by Alves.
And Gio coming to the U.S. all the way from Cape Verde. That's off the African coast west of Senegal. Into the Atlantic Ocean. He is a part of the Cape Verde national team, that small island. Matriculated to Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and found his way to Dean Junior College in Massachusetts after being the Rhode Island Gatorade Player of the Year at Shea High School in Pawtucket after just arriving to the U.S. Jariri trying to send out Frimpong.
I'd like to hear more about that recruiting trip.
Well, didn't need much of a recruiting trip. The numbers spoke volumes for Gio Alvis. 31 goals as a senior playing Rhode Island public school soccer. And that got the attention of a junior college, and then Gio Alvis just continued being a first-team All-American with 25 goals and 14 assists at Dean in 2016. So he dominated that level of play. Well, Christian Centeno communicating something to Jesse Cork, Sal.
Yeah, it was an offside. Jesse Cork played it as if it was a goal kick, and the assistant referee is signaling for offside. He's going to end up playing in the exact same spot, so I'm not sure why the referee decided to be a little over officious in this situation.
If there was such a thing.
Yeah, the offside was on the farther side of the goal, and Cork, so he's playing it on the edge of the six just like he did, but he played it as if it was a goal kick or on the left side of the goal, and since it was an offside and it was towards the far post, the referee wanted him to restart it from there.
Second ball win for the Cosmos. Lewis found a goalie. And Alvis was making the run before the pass. Now Detroit City has disrupted tonight. Coming in at 1-1-1. Detroit City also convincing performances in the Great Lakes region of the NISA Independent Cup. 3-0 shutouts over Cleveland and Buffalo. And then could not break through Chattanooga's defense after giving up an early goal. That's their lone blemish. Long run from Kevin Venegas. Off the nice layoff and then the offside.
Yeah, I mean, see Siobhan John Brown with his arm raised there, apologizing to his teammates because that came off a weak pass, square ball, far up the field, and it leads to this counter opportunity. Cosmos defenders doing a good job. Drawing the offside there, but that all came off of a square ball from Siobhan John Brown that just didn't have enough zip on it to get to his target, and he recognized it, worked his way back. No harm there to the team, but teammates are going to like that Siobhan John Brown recognized he put them in a tough position there, apologized for it, move on.
A test of patience tonight for New York. John Brown, bumped by Matthews. Is this the opportunity? This will be by far the best restart the Cosmos have had. Matthews got a little bit too much of the body, and John Brown was about to accelerate.
Yep, and it's a great play by Siobhan John Brown. He felt the pressure coming, knew what he was doing, waited for a bit of contact. Clearly a foul, but Siobhan John Brown wanted to get a foul in this spot on the field. Just outside 30 yards, center of the field. Close enough that Parker Siegfried, I think, has to be aware of a shot, but probably just on the outskirts, 32 yards away, but also close enough where a goalie you would expect with that magic left foot that he has to put a really dangerous ball into the mix of green shirts and cause some trouble here for Detroit City.
Siegfried barely got a practice in with his new team, signed yesterday. Anciagoli, talented left foot.
Yeah, he might be thinking about a shot here. There's 3 players in the wall, plus there's a Cosmo player and then another Detroit City player on the opposite side. So there's 5 across, which could provide enough distraction there for Siegfried that a goalie might decide to have a go here. He's certainly capable of scoring from this distance.
Goalie striking to goal, and he tested Siegfried, but he skips it wide.
And I think with that 3 people on the wall from that distance and then a couple of extra players that you saw there, center of the field, he just didn't quite get all of it, but I have no problem with that shot there from Anciagoli. I like the thought there, though, from Luban. That's what I'm talking about. If you can pull Detroit City out just slightly, and right now their back line is 30-plus yards from goal, it's time to think about dumping one in behind. Seeing if the goalkeeper's confident and comfortable coming outside of the 18 and dealing with those type of balls, and then seeing how the defenders have been great for Detroit City when they've been in position and have come forward and attacked the ball. Can they be just as effective when they're facing their own goal and running towards it and having to defend that way? We haven't seen whether they are or not tonight.
Carlos Mendez giving instructions to his right back, Andrew Luban. George Chabakov for Detroit City went down. Shaken up, he remains in the match. Peterson was able to bring it down. Matthews, full head of steam. Layoff for Peterson. Ryan Peterson getting out wide. And then that ball came all the way through, and somehow Frimpong was not able to reach it.
Yeah, he took a swipe out of it. I think he was trying to go maybe with the outside of his right foot and bend one, and he just kind of whiffed on it.
Rare counting opportunity for Detroit City. Rare counter for the Cosmos building as Alvis. This is Luban stepping forward. The foul as Frimpong is knocked down.
Yeah.
And the Cosmos upset.
Well,
and the Detroit City bench upset. They want a yellow.
Yeah, and they've come to the 4th official. Well, I'd love to see another look at it. Looking live, it did not look like there was this type of impact. And we'll see right now. Detroit City's bench from far away certainly felt that it was. There it is. Kind of behind it. He's holding his head. I'm not sure. You see Siobhan John Brown is having a discussion with number 5 there, Stephen Carroll, who's going right back. Take a look again there. It's Luban. You know, did his right hand come up? It was certainly unintentional, but possible there that his right hand came up at that last second and appeared to make contact. Certainly the way Frimpong responded, he was clearly hit. Take a look again. There it is, the right hand of Andrew Luban. So definite contact. I think at the last second, Luban kind of saw his head was down, playing the ball. The last second, he saw Frimpong right in front of him, and the natural reaction is just put your hands up and kind of brace for the impact. And for Frimpong, the impact was to the side of his head. Now the 4th official is speaking with the center referee, who's now possibly going to have a discussion with Luban. No, he's not. So the 4th official saw it as incidental. The center referee, who was much closer while it happened, also didn't think there was much more to it. Certainly not a cautionable offense or anything more than that, which Detroit City may have felt was justified.
Well, Frimpong, you see the bottom portion of your screen, walking back out onto the field. And then Detroit City will make another substitute as they bring on Roddy Green, Commerce Township, Michigan native, his 4th year at Detroit City. Attended Detroit City games while a high schooler. He's been a frequent player as an outside midfielder throughout his La Rouge career. And he replaces Ryan Peterson up top,
who
perhaps
was a substitute
as
well.
So perhaps certainly the thought process for Javi Bautista would be to add Green speed up top in a potential counter. Detroit City has had a couple of them here after not having any for a good 65 minutes. Frimpong half bicycles it out, and now the ball driven. Here's it on the near side for Filerman. And Jamie Filerman kind of started reaching for it a little too early.
I got to say, Ralph, as Cosmos are waiting to take the throw here, the play with Luban that we see there and Frimpong earlier, looking at it live, I didn't think it was a cautionable offense or certainly not any more than that. And watching the replay, and we had a couple of great replays, credit to our people for bringing a wonderful look at it. There was definitely contact with the hand by Luban to Frimpong. But even after looking at it and freezing it at that moment, I still feel that the referee in the 4th got it right. Foul, restart for Detroit City, but not a caution for Luban.
Hassan, as he tried to sprint Alves forward. Ball back at his feet. And then Hassan got in late. And he got into Jimmy Filerman. A second Detroit City player down. And that's George Chomikoff for the 2nd time. Well, we're looking at perhaps a good 5 minutes of stoppage time to conclude this one.
Yeah, Carlos Mendez is trying. He's calling out for Christian. That's the center referee, Christian Centeno. I don't know if we have a better look at this one. I did not see what happened during live action there, but Carlos Mendez, coach of the Cosmos, I think definitely felt that there wasn't anything here. And you're right, Ralph, clock is continuing to tick. Don't forget, there's been a couple of cautions. There's been a stoppage for a water break. There's been some players down. So there should be a fair amount of time added, right? First half, I think there was 2 minutes added. I would say there has to be at least twice as much here in the second half and potentially more.
George Chomikoff still down. He juggles a lot of different things. 7th year as a Detroit City player. mainly as a backup holding mid. Chabakov owns a gym apparel brand called Champion Grind. He's also an assistant coach of the men's soccer team at Livonia's Schoolcraft College and the head coach of a local Detroit soccer club in the UPSL.
Let's see if we can see something here. It's just a scrappy play. You see Hassan going for it. There on the follow through. I'm looking at Filerman on the ground before.
Well, Chabakov heads off the field favoring his right hip, and perhaps something he may have aggregated earlier. Remember, he took a knock about 10 minutes ago. So we are already into stoppage time, 6 minutes added on. Cosmos and Detroit City playing to a stalemate so far. The Cosmos have had the better of the opportunities and a heavy possession advantage, but not much in terms of grade A or even grade B level chances as they try to unlock this Detroit City defense. Lewis chipping in. Jariri in the air. Venegas. John Brown, room to run. Out wide, Cella. Cosmos with numbers in the box. Mattia Cella, head up, played it in. Hassan was thinking something else. This is the regular season finale for Detroit City FC. Cosmos make the long bus ride to Chattanooga through Virginia tomorrow. Luban. Chatella, nice move, settles it. Luban next ball in, that's off the body of Matthews. Luban continues, contact off of Matthews. It is not, and the Cosmos can't believe it. Their entire bench got up wondering how that is not a corner, but the official pointing to Siegfried.
Yeah, live, it looked like it should have been a corner here as the service is snuffed out by the Detroit City player. Did Luban get another touch on it? I don't think so. I think that's coming off of Yazid Matthews. That should have been a corner there.
Well, now this is Andrew Luban shaken up. Meanwhile, Detroit City will make a stoppage time substitution as 19-year-old Benedict Tagny comes on. He's the youngest player on La Rouge.
Yep, and that was, clearly after that play. I didn't see exactly what happened with the contact with Ali Hassan, but clearly there was something there because Chamakov has to come off, and he was holding his side the whole time. You look at Jesse Cork there, the goalkeeper for the Cosmos. Hasn't had a whole lot to do, but sometimes those are the toughest games for goalkeepers. Really to just keep your concentration for a full 90 minutes, and you always have to be aware of that long ball over the top, the counterattack. Sometimes it's better to be busier and more into the game.
So Luban will wait on the sideline, and now the Cosmos are just going to sub him out as Pedro Galvao replaces him here with about a minute and a half left. And perhaps a little extra as Luban had trouble getting back to his feet, perhaps a cramping issue. Galvao has been consistent starter the last year plus with New York. at right back, so this is a natural substitute. Chatella, nice bit of skill to play it forward. Alvis. And then Alvis was grabbed. That'll be a foul. The Cosmos trying to play it quickly, realizing the urgency of perhaps 30 seconds remaining. Galvao and the pass past Chatella. Space for Frimpong. And Frimpong just laying it into some space for Cork. Well, Detroit City came here with a game plan. Javi Bautista said, well, one of our areas of improvement is to not deviate from game plans at all in matches. They've had that happen on occasion. Hassan had a play away from his feet. Perhaps a chance for one more throw for New York if they hustle. You notice we're above 96 minutes.
There's a couple subs during stoppage time and a couple players hurt, so there should be a little extra time.
Galvao was looking for the flick on. But Detroit City's discipline tonight and their game plan, Sal, of keeping as many numbers behind the ball and just looking to be opportunistic. And if that indeed was their full plan, they executed it.
I think it's a plan that could work in the tournament action, right? I don't know that they cared necessarily about finishing on top of the table for the fall regular season, but this is a game that you're going to see in the tournament championship in a couple of weeks. And Detroit City carried out their game plan, I think, very effectively. That's the third straight shutout for Detroit City, and you see Jesse Cork getting the shutout for the Cosmos. I think much more frustration coming from the men in green than from the Detroit City side. But these are two teams that we might see down the road in a final of the tournament championship, and it won't end 0-0 at that time. We'll need to get a winner at that point. It's unfortunate we didn't get one tonight.
The Cosmos in Detroit City, something of a nemesis to New York. Dating back to last year, the Cosmos lost one at home and had a draw last September in Detroit. And tonight, Detroit City FC earns a tough draw here in Mitchell Field in Uniondale. So the Cosmos will hit the road tomorrow to Chattanooga and play their regular season finale on Saturday. Detroit City's regular season is done at 1-2-1. That'll do it for our entire crew today. This one ends as a stalemate. Our crew today. This one ends. This one produced as a stalemate and directed by Frank Lasquandro. We say so long and good night from Uniondale on mycujo.tv.